Hello everyone and welcome to the Spiritism Hunting and Etherworld Guide, or more or less Spiritism in general. So first things first, how do we get Spiritism? How much it costs? So I have 30 gold on me and that is enough for the basics of the Spiritism. So go to your local magic librarian. Then we, for example, just buy a few books like Vitalism for the mana regeneration, Infinite Being, yeah, you don't really need that. It always depends on what you personally need. But I just will buy a few books here and just read all the shit, even the economical spells. Economical. Yeah, we also buy something like Mental Focus that reduces our mana usage and stuff. And we need, of course, all the Spiritism stuff and the Ether Portal knowledge and the Spiritism knowledge and all the other stuff. And yeah, we have a lot of stuff to read now. Stuff like Spiritism, Ether Portal and stuff, read that to the end because you need the high skill for the portals and all the other stuff. And then go to your local magic vendor and buy a spellbook just to gain all your skills a little bit faster. So let's look in the spellbook. And Spiritism is the only spell where you need other regions besides spirits. And if you want to know how to get Jadeite, Calamine and Cuprum, the extraction guides are linked in the description. And then you maybe ask yourself how you can skill up your Spiritism, and that is an easy answer. You use the spell Transcendental Science, you know what I mean. The only spell that don't cost spirits. And you literally spam that. You can increase all your magic skills and also your Psy and your Int. Okay, let's buy some spirit boxes. For example, the small spirit box, there are place for 50 spirits, but if you freshly buy them, there are 4 in there. Medium spirit box, the same, but in the medium you have 150 spirits capacity. One very important note here, if you die, you will lose your spirit boxes. If you click on Home Priest or Priest, they are also gone. You need to use the portals for that. But now to the skills first. I, for example, choose Vitalism, Mana Regeneration, Meditation is of course optional because, yeah, Meditation, for example, is more or less an active skill. If you sit down, then you regain mana faster, so maybe you don't need that. And that is, by the way, for all the skills, you really need to decide yourself what you need because it's heavily dependent on your playstyle. But for Spiritism, you basically only need Spiritism, and all the other stuff is just more or less cosmetics. No, that was a joke, of course. Mental Offensive, for example, increases your damage you can make with your laser beam, for example, and Mental Focus reduces the mana you need to cast some spells. So yeah, you more or less need basically a few of that. There's also a skill Concentration where you get less interrupted while you're casting something and you get hit. But basically, if you're on the back row and reviving people all the time, then maybe Meditation is a good idea. But more or less for fast-paced combat, I don't know. I would say Mental Focus, Spiritism, Mental Offense, Multiverse Lore, you also need that, of course. But first, let's look at the magic schools. I also took ecumenical into that build. Yeah, of course, you don't need that. And Spiritism. And please make sure that you read all these books more or less to the end. If it's an upper skill, you can just throw that away and reading the skill down below. But if it's more or less end skill, like Spiritism, for example, then you should read that because some spells need a high skill. For example, Multiverse Lore, you can break up Multiverse Lore at I think 50 or 60, and then you can read Ether Lore, and then you can read Ether Portal. And if you want to make portals, then you need that skill to 75, and then it sometimes misses, so maybe 100 is also a good option. But if you are a little bit short on skill points, then you can play around with all the stuff. But now, very, very important before we start with Spiritism, how do you cast spells on yourself? For example, check your settings, check your self-cast, and yeah, look at the key and yeah, use that key to self-cast spells on yourself, you know. But now also very, very, very important, where do you get your spirits from? So now we do spirit hunting. So you bought your spirit box, you have 4 spirits in there, and then you cast your portal. I try to cast a portal here. Let's see if it works. I hope yes. Yeah, that happens when your skill is not high enough. So let's try it again. And we have a portal open. So if you use that portal, you can keep your spirit boxes when you're dead. But if you're, for example, then running around with your spirit boxes and pressing the priest button to get ported to a priest, then you will lose your spirit boxes. Same, for example, if you lose a fight versus a ghost. So now we are dead, we can look around to find some spirits. Note that the portal will use 3 spirits. So to find any spirits, go for example to a local graveyard and cast Transcendental Science. Yeah, that spell that don't cost any spirits. So we casted that and we have drawn out a spirit, and there is a spirit, and we have that little ball over there. So if you hold down your left mouse key and focus that ball, you can draw the cow out of that ball. Normally you have that animation where your hand is just drawing the stuff out there. I don't know what Star Wars fucked up this time, but I like the Mortal Online 1 animation where you can draw the cow with your hand and stuff, but I don't know. Yeah, to focus that is not that easy, and the reach is not so long. So if the ball is gone, you cast the spell Expel Spirit on yourself, and then you can banish spirits. For example, a dead player. If you cast that on a dead player, the dead player will be ported to the next priest. Now I casted that on myself and I pressed the left mouse button and I collected that spirit. It gave me only 1 spirit, so it also depends on the daytime and stuff. It's a little bit randomized. You can get more or less 1 to 20 spirits from 1 spirit. I was now extremely unlucky. Now I'm searching for some other spirits to hunt. If you're fighting versus a bigger ghost and stuff, and it drains your mana to 0, then you get ported to the next priest and resurrected, and you lose all your spirit boxes, of course. Now we try out the Mentale Projectile spell that costs 3 spirits and does decent damage. This also depends on your intelligence, of course, but here it says 45 to 62, and yeah, the spellbook is changing accordingly to your intelligence stat. These laser beams can get pretty far, easy up to 50 meters and stuff. Oh no, I failed. Okay, let's try it again. Yeah, if you don't have the skill high enough, this can happen a lot. It's a very good ranged attack if you're on the back lines and resurrecting people, and maybe also want to shoot some archers or some other people on the battlefield. Oh yeah, that can hit pretty hard. I mean, I have 100 intelligence. A fat mage with that spell does a lot more damage, I think. And one more thing, you can't hunt spirits while you are alive. I tried it a lot of times when you cast the Otherworld on yourself, so that you can see the Otherworld, and you want ghosts to show up. No, that is sadly not possible. Maybe they will change that in the future, I don't know. But now let's look closer to the resurrection, because many people will use that. Oh, hello, little fella! Oh man, everyone I talk with dies. Let's resurrect him! So I will cast Transcendental Awareness to myself, and then I'm able to see spirits, for example other dead players, and then I'm casting Resurrect on the other player. It's better if he is not moving and he has to accept to be resurrected. So there will be a little button prompt like, yeah, I want to be resurrected. So for some dungeons and some groups this can really save asses. If you are far out in the wild and you have no other priest nearby, this is perfect. It's more or less a must for every bigger dungeon group to have at least 1 spiritist with them, and he looks even fresher than before. There are also some other spells in Spiritism where you can increase your cow regeneration, for example if you're in the Otherworld and your new mana bar is more or less your health bar, and also some other cool spells to increase your movement speed in the Otherworld, and even one spell where you can from the Otherworld can help your friends with their mana regeneration. So you are in the dead world and you help your friends to get a lot more mana regeneration. These are some very interesting spells, maybe there are more to come, and I really hope you found this video helpful. So special thanks to my Patreon supporters Carmel, Professor O, Donsky and all the others. Also please leave a like and subscribe, would be really awesome from you. And always remember to make party hard. So see you all next time. Goodbye.